Welcome back. We are on the final step in the rug making process, which is fixing up the front, finishing the edges so that we can hem and get this on the floor. Now, before we get into it, you might notice there's something a little bit different about me from the last video to this video, and it's actually two things. I have had a haircut and I've also had a baby since the last video, so I just wanted to address the elephant in the room in case I looked a little bit different. Okay, I've finished punching my rug and I'm going to show you exactly how we're going to get this ready to be used functionally in your home. So here's the back of my rug, the flat stitch side, and it is, you'll notice it has no tails. All of my tails have been pushed through to the front. So when you're done with your work, if you notice you still have some yarn tails here, now is the time to push all of those little loose ends towards the front. And to do that, remember, just take your snippers, close them so you're not in danger of cutting anything, and then you can just poke the tails through towards the front. Now we're going to turn our attention to the front of the rug, and here are all my loops and all of my tails. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is take my snippers and I am going to trim all of these yarn tails even with the pile. So I'm going right at the same height as my pile. I'm not trying to cut them any smaller, and I am just trimming these yarn tails. Now, of course, you can throw these away if you want to, but I really love the idea of putting all of my clippings in a glass ornament, like a Christmas ornament, so that at the end of the year, when it's Christmas, I can have a punch needle tree and it will have little ornaments filled with the remnants from all the projects that I did throughout the year. And I think that would be fun to put like a little tag for the project and what year it was, what project it was. And then if you do this for a lifetime, you have a whole lifetime of projects that you can look back on and remember. Okay, I've gotten all of those tails trimmed, and you may notice over time that a few more tails might pop up every once in a while, and all you have to do is just trim those even with the pile. So now we're going to go back through with a needle and just clean up the front of your work. So what you're looking for here are any places where the lines may have gotten a little wonky, where loops are out of place. Maybe you've got a couple colors that are kind of blending together that need to be separated. So here is how you're going to do that. We will take an unthreaded punch needle, and I'm just using a random needle that I found in my studio. And what you're going to do, see right here where the stem, it's supposed to be white all the way through, but there's a little bit of green bleeding into that white. I'm just going to move that loop back where it's supposed to be so that now you can see that all of that is white. And I'm going to do that all the way around my rug. So any areas that need to be adjusted, you're just moving the stitches back into place. Now, since we used a lower pile punch needle, you're probably not going to have as much blending of color because those loops, they're not as long, they don't have as much opportunity to get mixed up with each other. But when you use a longer needle, like a number 8, this is something that you will probably deal with a little bit more than you will with this. I also like to just kind of stick my finger in between those lines and just kind of wiggle those stitches back into place and provide some separation with those colors. Okay, and mine really doesn't look like it's got that many spots where it needs to be fixed like this, but if you need to fix it, now is the time. Now I have a couple of spots here where the gripper pulled just a little bit of my stitches, and what I could do is take like a fabric shaver and run it over to take off some of the fuzz. But for now, I'm just gonna leave that alone until we move on to the next step, which is steaming. So make sure you've got your stitches the way you want them. I really am pretty happy with this without having to do too much finicky work. So now I want you to grab an iron and a damp towel, like a hand towel, and meet me in the next video. We're gonna steam this rug and get it ready for hemming.